Hello viewers, here is an updated view of the computers in the house as of October 2021. We'll start off here in the bedroom. I have a Dell Optiplex computer, the 990 series. This is the ultra small form factor, which was the smallest one they offered in this series. This particular one does have the i7 processor, and it's shipped with the Windows 7, and it still runs the Windows 7. Almost all of these Windows machines run Windows 7. In fact, I think exclusively now. I don't think I have any desktops that are running XP still. I have these two screens here. These are Dell screens. These are older. They are oh yeah, I want to show this. This computer, ever since I changed it to these monitors, it has that weird kind of like Windows Vista looking startup thing, or it used to have the conventional Windows 7 thing where the orbs kind of go together. I don't know why that changed. I really have no idea with that one. Anyways, I have these two screens here. These are pretty small screens. I think they're only about maybe 14 inches across, 15 inches. And this is a 17-inch laptop. So, oh, actually, I guess, maybe they're bigger than I thought they were. Well, you know, we're sitting here guessing, and I don't know why, because I have tools that can answer the question. No, I was correct. It's a 15. Well, I was kind of correct. I think I said it was a 14. Anyways, they're 15-inch monitors. And these are the older cold cathode backlit screens, which I prefer because you can turn the brightness down really low. I kind of like this setup. It's pretty cool. However, and very unfortunately, it's not going to last because the screen on the right is not functioning quite properly. It looks okay right now, but sometimes it flickers. In fact, is it doing it right? I'm not sure if the camera will pick this up. Oh yeah, it is doing it right now. It's flickering. I'll turn the brightness up, and that should magnify the problem. Well, did that just quit on video? Yeah, it looks like it did. Well, I guess this is going to be very short-lived because now I don't have a working computer screen in here. Now it's back. Well, anyways, it's been flickering. It's doing it now. I'm not sure if it'll pick up on the camera. Maybe you can tell, I don't know. There, you can probably saw that. So unfortunately, it's got a flicker. It's never blanked out like that. You know, it's obviously got a lot of hours on it, and it's on its way out. Both of these monitors were trash picked, so it is what it is. At least I have one good one. It's flickering pretty bad. So that unfortunately is going on, and I'm going to have to replace these screens. These are the only screens I have that are small enough to do a dual monitor on this table because it's kind of small. So I guess I'll have to go back to one screen. I liked having the two though because I could put a video on one and then do, you know, send some messages or emails or whatever on the other. But I could always put a laptop up and send the messages on the laptop instead. I've thought about completely omitting this computer from this table and just using a laptop here, because I have a ton of laptops that I don't use them often. I do use them often, but this computer I spend the most time on, probably an hour or two a day. And so if I had a laptop in here, I'd switch and throw them laptops and using those. A lot of times I'll just take the keyboard and push it back and use a laptop here. I was using this one the other night. So, I don't know. I'll probably keep the desktop here because I've got a number of other desktops that I want to use. So on the last video I didn't show the specifications, and I should have done that. I don't know why. I don't know why I didn't do that. Here's this one on the flickering screen. It's an Intel Core i7 2600 CPU at 2.8 gigahertz. It's got 8 gigabytes of memory, and it's a 64-bit system. And let's see what the Windows Experience Index is looking like. So in this one, it's the graphics that are falling behind. Everything else is pretty good. The processor is powerful, the memory is good, and the drive is fast. So that's that. I'm going to have to replace these monitors sooner than later because it's getting worse. Ironically enough, I had used it last night. I had taken a break from it and he was using that because the flickering was getting annoying, and then I used this again last night and it seemed like it was okay. Now it's obviously worse than it's ever been. So, okay. Well, that stinks. So I'll have to replace this. Yeah, that's getting really bad. I think it completely tried to... I think it just completely quit when I was turning the brightness up before. I don't know. I usually keep it real low, at night, because I have dim lighting in the room. And that's why I like these screens, because they go pretty low. Lower than a lot of other models I've used. But if it flickers, it's kind of irrelevant. So that's that. The desktop computer in the bedroom, which unfortunately is inherently on its last legs, or its last screen. I have plans of something else to put in here, but I kind of wasn't ready to replace it yet. Oh well. This screen is the same model as the ones in the bedroom, except this one's bigger one. Maybe this is a 17 or a 20 or something, I don't know. But I've had this screen for a very, very long time. This was originally my grandfather's computer screen, and then he gave it to us when we got a new Windows 7 computer around that time, and I remember using this. Some of the first times I had ever used Windows 7 was on this particular screen, so that's part of why I have a particular nostalgia to this screen. I also think they just have a really good coloring to them, and they're really sharp and good screens. Anyways, so this is the computer in the computer room. I should do a video on my laptops as well, because I have a pretty extensive collection of laptops. They're all over the place in here. They're all in here. I've got tons of them. And I do in fact use all of them. Like over the course of 2 or 3 weeks, I'll have used every single one that I have. It's kind of neurotic, but whatever. You can see just through the course of the last day I've used all 4 of these, plus that one over in the bedroom, and then I was using that one today. So they do see their use. So this is the computer here in the computer room. Oh, I forgot to mention about this computer in here. I decided to change the keyboard around. I decided to put this keyboard in here because I use this computer more often, so it would just make sense to have the better keyboard in here. But I'm running into the problem of the thing is too loud to hear the video or the music or what have you, so I think I'm going to put it back, and I may put it back. I'll just swap these two. I'll put this one in there, because this one, it's not bad. It's quiet, but the keys, they have a decent travel to them, and it feels pretty good. So I kind of like this keyboard. It's a Lovano keyboard. I think it's a newer model. Kind of odd that something newer is decent, but sometimes it happens. So this is the computer in here. This is another Dell Optiplex 990. This one I've had for a long time. And this computer has always been a little bit flaky. It does weird things. It has not been the most reliable machine that I have. I've had some issues with it. It's getting screwed up over the years, and I don't know what's wrong with it. It's shipped with Windows 7, and as is the case with all the other Windows machines. It does run Windows 7, and you know, it's not USB 3 or anything like that. It's shipped with 7, so I would think that it should just work, but it's always been a little weird. It should be getting going here any second. There it goes. Let's go ahead and log in. And one of the other issues with this computer, I think I've done a video on this before, is that the graphics isn't quite right. This is one of the things that's flaky about it. Everything except for the center monitor typically has a very low frame rate. Like if you go to play a video on one of the side screens in the web browser on YouTube, it drops a whole bunch of frames and it gives a terrible viewing experience. So I don't know what's with that. The graphics card is certainly powerful enough to draw these 3 screens. These are all 1080p screens. The one in the bedroom I think is 1024 by 768. I don't particularly like 1080p screens unless they're really big because the text size gets too small. Even these, I think I put it up to 150% so I can see it. Well, anyways, this is the graphic card in there. It's a GXT 750 by NVIDIA. And it's got 2 gigabytes of memory. Let's take a look at the specifications here. Okay, so this computer is a 7.6. It's got an Intel i7 2600, 3.4 gigahertz, and it's got 16 gigabytes of memory. And here's the Windows benchmark thing. So the lowest on this thing is the memory and the processor. The hard drive is as high as it goes, and the graphic card is just about there, because this only rates on a scale of 1 to 7.9, so 7.6 is about as good as it gets. And so that's why I don't quite understand why it just doesn't work the way that I think it should. So I think what I may do in this case is I may put Windows 8 on here as well, along with the Windows 7, because I think the Windows 8 is a lot better with the graphics in the sense that it won't have the issue. This is my theory. Yeah, I was going to show it, but I've already done the video. I'm not going to show it again. If you want to know what I'm talking about, there's a whole dedicated video to this situation. Anyways, this is about as new as I go as far as these computers are concerned, because this was like, I would say this was the peak of the Windows 7 era when these machines were coming out, because everything natively supports Windows 7, and you know, you're at 7.6, you're going to get 0.3 more, only 0.3 more. So I have newer machines, but I'm keeping this one for now because it, other than being a little bit flaky at times, it for the most part works just fine. This is the old screen that was in the bedroom. I had this screen in there for a while and it worked pretty good, but I don't know, I preferred a lower resolution screen so the text isn't so small. I wish I had 3 screens of the same in here, because I don't like that the text is different on the center one, but you know, I work with all used crash picked equipment, so you can't get picky. It is what it is. Okay, so here's my video editing desk to get my credit card off of this desk, and then we can take a look at it. This is where I edit almost all of my videos. Let's get logged in here. Got my SD cards. So this is my video editing computer. I use iMovies for just about everything, and then if something gets too complicated, I'll go over to this one, that editor there, whatever it's called, I don't even remember. I don't use it more than like 5 times a year. And this is the computer I edit probably 95% of the videos on. It's an old, it's not that old, I think it's a 2015 maybe, Apple laptop. I got it for free because the screen is broke, but it still works just fine with an external monitor, so that's the way I use it. And I had replaced this computer some time ago with an iMac, and I liked the iMac better, but from a functional standpoint, this worked better because this was much faster, and like the SD card slot is right there, it's easy to get to, so is the USB to plug in a hard drive or something. So it works. You know, it gets annoying every now and again because you gotta open the laptop to turn it on, and you can't open enough because there's not enough clearance, so you gotta take the whole thing off the table and open it up. So I don't ever really turn it off, and then it freezes. The setup has its problems, but it works. It's not perfect like everything else around here, but it works. So I keep it. I'll use it until it quits, and then I'll find out something else to do. This machine is still running the Mojave, and it's going to continue to do so until there's some other reason not to. It's a 15-inch Retina from mid-2015, and it's a 2.2 gigahertz Intel Core i7s. I don't know what the processor itself is. It's 16 gigabytes of memory, and it has the Intel Iris Pro 1536 megabytes of graphics card. I don't know if we can get more information on that processor to see exactly which processor it is. The other issue with this machine is that the hard drive is kind of small. It's only 256 gigabytes, and it fills up all the time. Here is the model identifier. It's a MacBook Pro 11.4. That doesn't mean anything to me, but it may mean something to somebody else. Let's see here. Where is the processor? Here's the graphics. This screen is an Apple Cinema screen, and inherently it looks like the resolution is going to be 1920 by 1200. And I like these screens. I have two of these. I used to have two of them here, and I dropped down to this one, and it's been fine having just the one, because then what I'll do is I use a laptop at the same time. You know, so I'll start importing videos, and then I'll do something else on the laptop while it imports. I used to have the two screens here, and then I would just use this one computer for both tasks, but then I wasn't using these other machines, and I'd much rather use these other machines versus this machine. I was choosing this machine just out of convenience. So now I go back to the laptops, and I use this almost only for videos. There's not much of anything else that I do on this computer. I don't know how to find what the processor is. I don't know. Don't know. Oh well. Let's go downstairs. I got a couple more computers downstairs that we can take a look at. Here is the computer downstairs. I think this is the same computer that was here last time, but the screens is different. This is a Lenovo ThinkCentre computer. This has the i5 processor, and let's turn everything on here. These two Dell monitors, and the one on the left is a 4x3, and the one on the right is a 16x9 approximately. I think it's 1920 by 1200. And the reason why I did this configuration is because this is the computer where I do a lot of videos talking about something on a computer. So I wanted to have an approximately 1080p screen, because when you record a video of something on the computer and it's on a screen like this, and you play it back on a widescreen computer, which is what most people view on, it doesn't look right. So now if I do it like this, and I record on this screen, you know, with the exception of like 80 pixels or something, it's going to look fine. I would rather have two 4x3 screens because the windows look all, you know, different. Like it's this size over here, and then, you know, you put it over here and then it's smaller and the text is different. So I don't really like this configuration for that reason. Plus the pictures don't fit on there right. But because I do a lot of recording on this computer, it works better for that. So that's why I have it set up this way. So let's take a look at the specifications on this computer. This is the Intel i5-6500T processor at 2.5 gigahertz, 7 gigabytes of memory, or more like 8. I think I could double it. I probably have enough memory to double it, but I'm not sure that's necessary. The Windows Experience Index is quite high on this machine. It's incredible to think that the one I have upstairs with the full-on expansion card and everything is only a 7.6, and this is not even 1 point below that, 6.9, and it all fits into this little box. So I thought about setting up another one of those because it's the same model I have upstairs. I think I have another graphics card somewhere. Thought about setting that up down here, but really no reason to. I haven't used it a whole lot yet, but I'm pretty sure it records everything just fine. So this will probably stay for a while because it's working well and it's kind of cool. Here's the Apple desktop downstairs. This is I think it's pretty much unchanged from before, but I'll show the specification this time. I set this computer up with the intention of being able to use it if I just wanted to do a quick video edit or something. I didn't need to go all the way upstairs for it. But this thing is so daggone slow that by the time I go upstairs and do all the editing and come back down, it probably still is just loading up. So I don't really get a whole lot of use out of this anymore, or at all. I never really did. I think the hard drive is bad because it just, I reinstalled the system and it didn't change, so something's not right. It is the same system as the one upstairs, the Mojave, and this one has 2.7 gigahertz i5 and a GT640M. So it's got a decent amount of power to it, but the drive just isn't right. And oh, I thought there was some private information on there, nothing to see on there. I'm not sure I want to deal with replacing the drive in these things. It's not easy. Maybe I'll have someone else do it for me. I know somebody who probably would do the favor for me. Maybe I'll ask him if he'll do it. Because if this was usable, I would probably use it quite often. The last desktop computer I have is over here. Turn this light on here. And I gotta turn these power bars on for this one to work. I think this air filter is gonna come on. Oh, whatever, it can be on. This is, I'm very fond of this setup. The computer mounts on the wall here, and the screen is here, and if all this junk wasn't here, it's a pretty cool setup. But all the junk is there and it's hardly usable. Actually, this isn't so bad. I just gotta put that away, and then that's one set of phones I can do a video on and then put that somewhere else. So I guess this will be usable once again sooner than I thought. Anyways, I'll go ahead and turn this thing on. Get this cup out of the way. I don't even remember what the password is for this thing. Oh, okay. This has pretty much the same setup as the other one, because it's a very similar computer, so I use the same image. I think this has a couple of additional pieces of software on there from when I was trying to do something, but that was installed after the fact. Let's take a look at the specifications on this one. Okay. I'm very fond of this particular computer for Windows 7. I think it's an M90P or something like that. And I just find that it runs Windows 7 very well, especially with a solid state memory in there. This has the Intel i5-4570T processor at 3 GHz, so it's pretty powerful. 12 gigabytes memory. I'm not sure why this has so much memory in it. Hardly even do anything on this computer. At most it just like plays music, or I'll look up a manual for something or whatever. Should take some of the memory out, put it in the other computer. Let's take a look at the benchmark thing. This is the same series as that other computer. This one's like a year or two older. This one is old enough to natively support 7. The other one is not. I believe that other one shipped with maybe even 10. So it's a little bit flaky to get 7 on there, but as you saw, it does work. So yeah, the hard drive is 7.9, that's a flash memory in there. Processor is 7.2, memory is 7.5, so it's lacking on the graphics, but even then a 6 is pretty high in this score. It's certainly more than adequate, especially just for this screen. This is not a high-res screen. I think it's only 1440 by 900. So that's that. I think this hasn't changed either, but now you know what the specifications of it are. It turns on and turns off very quickly, which makes it kind of good for this use case. So that's all the desktop computers for whatever month this is, October, I guess, October 2021. Maybe I'll do a series like this for the laptops as well.